Hey, happy champers, Marnie from Bubble and Flute here, and today we're going to talk about the correct way to open a bottle of champagne. Now, where I come from at Bubble and Flute, there is no right or wrong way to open a bottle of champagne. I say however you get that cork out, get popping, get pouring, and it's happy days. But I don't even notice when you go to a restaurant or a bar where it's fine dining, they don't have that big noise when they open the bottle of champagne. You barely hear anything at all. And that is because they do actually apply a specific technique to make that happen. And in fact, I've actually heard it described as when you open a bottle of champagne, the sound you hear should be no louder than the gentle sigh of a contented woman. Now, I don't know where that guy's from, and I'm sure it's a guy that said it, but I like the pop. I like to pop, I like some drama, and I'm guessing he's probably never met too many Aussie chicks in his time. So, that aside, today we are going to go through, as best I can, the correct and proper fine dining technique for opening a bottle of champagne. That said, you come to a party with me and a tasting with me, I'm going to be popping as loud as I can. And that's not in the least because it's actually really difficult for me, I find, to perform the correct technique. So stick with me and I'll explain why it's quite hard for me to do that. So obviously the first thing that you want to do when you open a bottle of champagne, no matter who you ask, is you've got to remove the foil. And then you're obviously left with the cap and the cork, and it's got this cage around it. So the first thing you do is you drop the side of the wire, and technically you should do 6.5 turns to undo the wire around the cork. So that's the half, and then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I like to start with the half. I don't know why. And again, you'll see that generally, if you're in fine dining, they'll leave the cork and the cage on. Me personally, no matter how much of a pop I like to get on when I'm getting the cork out, is I'll generally keep my thumb over the top of the bottle during the process, because I've seen it more than a dozen times when there's that much pressure for whatever reason, if it hasn't been stored properly, if it's been shook up a bit, or if it's been too hot or too cold, the pressure builds up, and before you even lift a finger or twist a turn, that cork is shooting straight up. And I've had a girlfriend recently say she nearly lost an eye in the process. So I always keep my thumb over the top of the cork, top of the bottle. Even now when I'm talking about it, if you come to a tasting, I'm always going to do that because I always like to think safety first. So what they'll do in the restaurants is they'll usually leave the cage on over the top of the cork. And they actually say technically, instead of turning the cork, which is what most of us do when we take the cork out of the champagne bottle, is that instead of turning the cork, you're meant to hold the cork in place and turn the bottle. Now, the problem with that is I just don't have the strength to turn the bottle most of the time, but I'm thinking right here with this particular bottle, it's actually, I can feel that coming loose. And so you can see it's my right hand that's turning and not the left. And I can feel, see how I've got it on a 45-degree angle as well? The reason being is because there's always a little bit of air and a bit of gas collected in the top of the bottle. If you have it straight up and down, the air is going to go straight north, basically. So now it's going straight north, but instead of sitting right at the top of the bottle, it's sitting at the curve between where the body becomes the neck. And I can feel that's pretty much ready to go. And if I turn it up the right way, I swear it's going to pop all on its own. So I'm just going to give it one last gentle twist and see if I've got the strength to hold that in. And there's that gentle hiss, the sigh of a contented woman, and not the big ginormous pop. Me personally, I love the pop. It's a bit of fun. I can't always pull that off. This was actually quite an easy champagne bottle to open today, but I'm going to say 50% of the time there's no way I've got the strength to actually do that, and I have to find that I have to really go and turn the cork in the bottle. But hey, however you get your cork out, I think you're winning, because at the end of the day you get a beautiful glass of champagne. So thanks for watching, and next time you're opening a bottle of champagne, think about contented women, and also think about whether you want a pop or a gentle sigh, and apply those techniques to see if you can pull it off like they do in the fancy restaurants. And then after that, you've done it once, go back to the big pop. That's what I always do. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now.